Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this final episode of the Mystic Access Podcast for the year 2019. I'm Chris.
I'm Kim. Happy New Year's Eve!
Happy New Year's Eve to you, and hopefully you get this on New Year's Eve. If you don't, then Happy New Year to you.
Absolutely. We hope you will be either ringing out or ringing in your New Year at some point with us. So thanks for joining us as always. It's been a fun year, and we're excited to end it with something small and, well, at least it kind of looks tasty. Really isn't, but kind of looks tasty.
I don't think
we
I'd
teased
want to
this.
really eat it.
We teased this in the last episode. So if you've been spending the last couple weeks going, what the heck are they talking about? We are now ready to ask you a question. Would you like a candy bar?
Sure. What kind of candy bar?
Well, you tell me.
It is a candy bar style telephone.
Ooh, really?
Yes, it has physical buttons, and for those that know of it, it is the Blind Shell cell phone. We have recently acquired a Blind Shell cell phone because we wanted to see what all the hype was about.
And the hype is around for good reason. Chris has been playing obsessively with this phone for the last several days. We are recording this early, and we received the phone last week as of this recording. So by the time we actually get to New Year's Eve, Chris will have even longer to have played with it, and maybe I'll get to see it in New Year. Let's hope. Hopefully he'll part with it long enough to send it to me so I can play with it. But we're really excited about it. This is the Blind Shell Classic. It's a candy bar style phone, and it's very powerful for what it does. And we'll give you some caveats about that aspect of things. But first, do you want to just tell us about the phone?
Yes, so it's a little phone. It can fit in the size of my hand. It totally reminds me of something like a Nokia N82. For those that have had that phone, it's probably about that time frame. It looks like a phone from the early to mid 2000s. So it's not a flip phone. It's a candy bar style phone. And it has a screen on the top, and it has a physical keypad on the bottom, and you do everything with the physical keypad. On the top, it has a USB connection for charging, a headphone jack, and on the bottom, it has a couple of holes. Well, it comes with a dock to charge your phone with. If you remember those phones, they came with docks, so you'd plug the dock into the wall, and then you'd slap your phone on the dock to charge it. It's the same type of thing. So you have the best of both worlds. What's really unique about this phone is that it's a closed system. You can't install any of your favorite apps. Maybe you were thinking you could use something like Aira with it. You cannot. But it's a very, very easy user interface for people that want to make and receive phone calls, for people that want to text with their friends, and for people that want to send and receive emails. That will work as well. Having said that, I have not set up my email with it just yet. One thing I did like about it is that when I turned it on, it was just there. There wasn't a big long process that you had to log into an account in order to get it to work. Now, there are some advantages and disadvantages to that. You should be aware of what you're getting and why. You're getting a very, very easy to use cell phone. How many times have we been in places where we want to dial a number and we want to go into the interactive voice system of a place that you want to call? And it's very hard to navigate the screen with your device to punch in a number. With this, you can just start punching in numbers. It will just dial the phone, and that's what it is. So when you answer the phone, you hit confirm. When you hang up the phone, you hit back. These are buttons that are on your phone. You have an SOS button on the back, so if you wanted to emergency call somebody, you can set that up and it will emergency call a friend. The nice thing about that is, at least for me, if I'm holding my phone in my hand, my finger is resting on the SOS button. So if I'm holding this to talk to somebody, then my finger is right there. So I could just press and hold this button. Or if it's in my pocket, I could reach in and press and hold that button and it will call,
You do have to confirm, though, that you want to make that call. It does ask you for confirmation. So you don't just press the button and it calls, just to clarify that.
And it's something that you have to set up as well.
Yep. You set it all up. The menus are accessible. There's a lot in terms of high contrast and things like that if you're low vision that you can set up. And you just throw a SIM card in it and you're set. You're ready to go. Which is awesome. So it's very, very easy to get up and running if you want to use this as a phone. But, there's other stuff built in. If you want more than just talk and text, there's other stuff in here. As Chris said, there's email, but there's also internet radio, there's FM radio, there's calendar in here. I think there's calculator.
There's
tons
alarms,
of stuff.
There's
weather.
stopwatch, there's timer, there's a weather. There's a lot to this little phone.
There is, and of course it's small and compact. So you've got that going for it as well. It has its own dock. Can you charge it without the dock? Does it need a dock?
It does not need a dock. So you could leave your dock at home, grab a USB cable, plug the USB cable into the top of your phone. The connections for the dock are on the bottom of the phone.
So if you have one of our nice micro USB cables, you can take that along with you and plug in your phone with it, and it will charge for you.
So let's see what this phone sounds like. So I'm going to unlock the phone.
More applications, 4 of 9. One new notification, 12:42 p.m., November 18th, 2019.
So that gives you an idea of what it sounds like when you unlock the phone. So now I'm going to just move up and down the main menu.
Contact messages, call, 1 of 9.
And you get a little beep at the top.
Messages, 2 of 9. Contacts, 3 of 9. More applications, 4 of 9. Settings, 5 of 9. Status information, 6 of 9. Manual, 7 of 9. One new notification, 8 of 9. Turn off the phone, 9 of 9.
Very, very simple. You've got notifications, you've got status info, so you can see your battery status, for instance. You can see how many bars you're getting, although the phone doesn't show as bars, does it?
It does not. And I'll show you a quick way to get there. If you scroll up with the up portion of the cursor cross.
12:43 p.m. Monday, November 18th, 2019, 1 of 5. Wi-Fi state, connected to, Smallville, signal strength, 99%, 2 of 5. Signal strength, 100% 3G. Carrier, AT&T. Mobile data enabled, 3 of 5. Battery state, 48%, 4 of 5. Bluetooth disabled, 5 of 5.
So you went up and then right with the cursor cross that's on the phone.
Yes. So now I'm going to go back.
Turn off the phone, 9 of 9.
And now I'm back into the menu system. So let's see what we have in more applications.
One new note, manual, static, setting, more applications, 4 of 9. Tools, 1 of 4. Email, 2 of 4. Media, 3 of 4. Vision aids, 4 of 4.
That's another interesting thing. You've got vision aids, so there's a color identifier in there. You can do labels, so you can tag your own labels. There's some interesting stuff.
Media, email, tools, 1 of 4. Alarm, 1 of 9. Minute timer, 2 of 9. Stopwatch, 3 of 9. Calendar, 4 of 9. Notes, 5 of 9. Voice recorder, 6 of 9. Calculator, 7 of 9. Weather, 8 of 9. Dictionary, 9 of 9.
So notice at the top and the bottom of the menu, you get the beep, so you know where you are. And the menu does not wrap, correct?
Alarm, 1 of 9.
It sure does.
Oh, it does wrap. Excellent.
Yes. Which makes it even nicer. Yes.
Yep, I like that.
So we'll back out.
Tools, 1 of 4.
And notice there's haptic feedback, too, which I think is kind of fun.
Yes.
Media, 3 of 4. Vision aids, 4 of 4.
You may be able to hear it going zzz.
Color indicator, 1 of 3. Localization, 2 of 3. Object tagging, 3 of 3.
So if you go into localization, for example, which is really cool, it'll tell you what your current GPS position is, but then you could also text that information to a friend. So if you're waiting for somebody, you can text them your coordinates and then they can put it in their GPS system and they can find you, which is very cool. Let's go back.
Vision aids, 4 of 4. More applications, 4 of 9. Call, 1 of 9.
You got call.
Messages, 2
Messages.
of 9. Write SMS to contact, 1 of 6. Kim Loftus, 1 of 2. Mobile, text.
And you're typing with T9.
Yep. That's an
capital
important
G,
thing to know.
capital H, G H I.
So I just said hi, and I'm going to hit confirm.
Send message 1 of 3.
So I can send.
Save to drafts 2 of 3. Discard message 3 of 3. Send message 1 of 3. Message sent. Write SMS to contact 1 of 6.
So Chris has sent me a message. Let's see if I actually got it. My phone's on Do Not Disturb, but I think I did receive it. Yep, there it is. It just says hi.
And you can reply to it, and we can see what we have.
Okay, I'll do that. So I'm going to type. So it doesn't matter if you guys hear my phone or not.
No, it does not.
I'm just going to type. And I'm going to come up here. So I'm going to send.
And there's my notification. So now let's go down to notifications.
Messages. More applications 4 of 9.
Technically, we could go into messages.
Setting. Status at manual. 2 new. Turn off the phone. 2 new notifications 8 of 9.
So if you notice, it says 2 new notifications.
Message from Kim Loftus. 0 minutes ago. 1 of 3.
So now I can press confirm.
Incoming. Hello. 0 minutes ago. 1 of 3.
Now I can hit the right arrow key or right.
Outgoing. Sending. Incoming. Hello.
It's our conversation. So I could go back.
Outgoing. Sending. Hi. 1 minute ago. 2 of 3. Outgoing. Sending. Outgoing. Incoming. Hello. 0 minutes ago. 1 of 3.
So now if I hit confirm on this incoming one,
Reply. 1 of 5.
I can reply.
Forward 2 of 5. Call 3 of 5. Delete 4 of 5. Delete conversation 5 of 5. Do you want to delete this conversation? No item. Register your phone and extend your warranty.
Conversation is all gone. And now,
volume 8.
whoops.
1 new notification.
Oh, I thought it said
Volume
no.
7.
Did you hit OK or something?
I
'Cause
did.
it said, do you want to delete? I thought it would have a yes or a no
It's
or
not. At any of those do you want to, it's either you confirm it or you cancel.
something. Gotcha.
There's no yes or no.
Why were there 3 items in our conversation when
Because
there
of,
were only 2 texts?
a sent message from yesterday.
Oh, I forgot about that. Right. Okay. I was
Yes.
confused.
The actual initial send test message text
Aha.
from the
yes.
phone, yes.
Yeah, we were testing some of this stuff before, and I forgot about that. I'm like, why is it showing 3?
One thing
But-
to keep in mind, though, you can only use AT&T or T-Mobile service with it. However, you can use the MVNO services, those Straight Talks and those other services that rely on the AT&T or T-Mobile networks, because that's currently what's in this phone right now is one of those Straight Talk SIMs, and the phone just locked.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that, but it was like a little closing door. So
I set it to auto lock. By default, it doesn't auto lock, but I set mine to auto lock.
And it has some cool things you can change. It's got a gazillion different rings, so that's exciting. It also has different voices, so you can change the voice if you wish to. They're all kind of variants of the same voices. There's a male and a female. They all sound kind of alike, but it does give you the ability to change. So if you have some hearing loss, for instance, you can change to a voice that sounds a little better and a little clearer for you. So you've got some options there.
Yes, you do. And if you recognize the voice, it is Google TTS.
Now, we don't know what flavor of Android this little thing is using, so that's something else to keep in mind. But since it is a closed system,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'll be anxious to see when I get it whether or not I can get any actual phone service, because I don't get AT&T up here or T-Mobile. We only have Verizon up here. So I'm going to be anxious to see if my Straight Talk service will allow me to utilize it or not.
And there you go, and that would be nice to know, too.
That would be nice to know. So I will be sure to update you guys when I do know. There's a lot to this little phone. I mean, if you want something that will allow you, as Chris said, to contact those IVRs easily, or to make any kind of phone call easily, or to just simply call and text, or to call and text and check your mail, and maybe your weather, things like that, things that you want to do all the time. This is a great little option because you don't have to worry about picking it up and having something not be accessible, or having the accessibility of something change from one update to the next. That can be very reassuring for many of you, I know.
I accidentally put myself in the system service menu the other day, and
Kids, don't try that at home.
well, to my surprise, it was accessible. It totally loaded eSpeak, and it was completely accessible. So if you get yourself into it, you can get yourself out of it. It's where you would go to reset the factory settings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that being said, we wouldn't recommend you go in and play with things in there because you might wreck your phone.
Yeah, who knows? But the phone can support up to a 32 gig micro SD card, and you can play some MP3 books and stuff like that. So there's like a book player in here as well. I haven't had time to play with that just yet. I'm sure Kim will put it through its paces.
Oh, I'll guarantee you play with it for y'all. There's no problem with that whatsoever. I will play with it. Now, that being said, you can't do Audible. You can't do Bard.
Right.
I don't know if you can put Bookshare books in here. I'll try for you guys and let you know if it works. You'd have to load them externally, onto your card or onto your phone. Oh, that's the other thing to mention. You can plug this in and use it as an external drive for your computer.
To put your stuff on
put your stuff on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's very handy. So you're not going to find anything on here that isn't accessible to a totally blind user. I used to get so annoyed, and this probably happened to many of you, when you bought something that you thought was going to work for a totally blind user and you find out it's a low vision product. That is not fun.
Yeah, or you get something like the Samsung Haven or some of these other phones that had talking menus up to a certain point, and then the voice would go away.
The voice would stop. And you can get around some of that stuff. You can play with it, but why do it if you don't have to when you have a nice compact little product that speaks all the way around? We've been so impressed, and obviously I've done so by proxy, but we've been so impressed by the design, by the thought and care that's been put into these menu structures, just by how nice everything is working. It's very impressive.
Yes, it is. So we're really, really impressed with this, and things may happen regarding
things may
this
happen. We aren't going to make any guarantees as to what, when, and how, but things may happen, so definitely stay tuned to the podcast. We will keep you abreast of anything that happens. Please don't call and ask us because we are still working on that. So we don't know yet how and when and any of that.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. Be patient with us. We don't know everything yet. We do not sell the phone. That's another thing we need to mention to you right away. You can get it from several distributors here in these states. LS&S has it, AT Guys has it, so you can take your pick, and there are others as well in the States, and there's some in Canada and in the UK. So wherever you are, you can probably find someone who has it, and I think the running price is $349.
Yeah, it's $349, $399. I've seen it a couple of different.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You can also get a case for it, so depending on where you get it, you can get a case. We don't know if Al from Executive Products is going to create a case for it, but if you buy it and want one, contact Al, and he may be interested or willing to do that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to have a case for it like that.
It is a great little option. We've been very impressed so far. Obviously, we will keep you guys updated on our progress with it and let you know if we're still playing, which we probably will be, and let you guys know, as we said, what happens in terms of us and the phone. So stay tuned, and we wanted to make sure you had a nice little demo of the phone. And you have to turn it on and off for them because I want them to hear the cute little startup music with this phone. As Chris was reaching to turn off the phone, it reminded me of something I wanted to share. While you do have some buttons on the screen in addition to your cursor cross and your dial pad, a lot of things are done by either pressing and holding numbers on the dial pad. So that's kind of an innovative little trick, and you can read all about that. The manual is built into the phone. There's also a manual on the Blind Shell website, which I will link to for you.
Turn off the phone. 9 of 9. Do you want to turn off the phone? The phone is now off.
So it says the phone is now off, and you said it actually does take a little minute for the phone to go off.
You get a vibration when it actually goes off.
Let's see if we can hear it. Yep, there it is.
So now I'm going to turn it on. There's your on vibration.
Call 1 of 9.
And
Just like that. It's
there
not
you
bad
are.
at all.
It's all nice and up and running.
Nice and up and running, and it takes a heck of a lot less time than your Android or iOS phone.
And it does less, but it does it
It
accessible.
does less, but yes, it does do less, but it comes up fast, and I love that little startup music. I just like it lots. Of course, while this phone talks to us, which is very, very cool, There are other things in our house that talk to us too, probably, especially if you're Chris, because we already know he has an A-Lady addiction. And he recently added one of their new flavors to his house. Tell us about it.
It is the Echo Flex. And this is a square Echo, and it is a unique thing. Sometimes what you could get, and what I have done in the past, is take an Echo Dot, whether it's second gen or third gen, and get an aftermarket wall mount. And what that did is it would allow you to put your Echo Dot in a case and either have a built-in plug, or it uses its own plug and wraps the wires around, blah blah blah, so you got 6 feet of wire stashed in. To make a long drawn out story short, that's what the Echo Flex is. It combines an Echo Dot in a plug. You basically plug the Echo Flex directly into your wall with nothing else. There's no added anything that you need to concern yourself with. The orientation of the Echo Flex, when you pull it out of the package, if you look at it, it's a square, more or less maybe it's a little bit more like a rectangle than a square. Actually, yes, it is. It's a little bit.
We'll take you back to Sesame Street so you can learn the difference. It's okay.
Okay, well, I can count too. You got your plug on the back, your 2 prongs, and you literally plug it directly into the wall. Now, on the front, you've
Okay,
got...
no, wait. Before we go to the front, how small are we talking about this puppy?
You can fit it in the palm of your hand.
Okay.
I literally, before we started recording this podcast, I have a Google Home Mini on the lower plug, and on the upper plug, I plugged in the Echo Flex, and both of them were snug in the outlet. One wasn't touching the other. It was a very, very nice fit. You can have them both in there. Of course, the Google Home Mini was in one of those third-party adapter things.
And I take it the Google Home Mini is considerably bigger than Flex.
Yes, and it's round. So on the bottom of the Flex, you have a USB port, and that allows you to connect Echo Flex accessories. And one Echo Flex accessory that I found was a nightlight. So you can connect your Echo Flex, make it one little device, and then plug them both into the wall, and you have a nightlight for a bathroom, you have a nightlight for a kid's room. If you want to buy several of these and sprinkle them around the house, you could do that as well. Maybe you want one in the kitchen. You can use the Echo Flex in your kitchen and not have a big Echo in your kitchen, or a Dot with an adapter or a third-party aftermarket case.
Which is what I currently have in my kitchen. I've got a second-gen Dot in an adapter hanging on the wall. Which is fine, because I don't use her for much of anything except weather and timers. I don't use her for music or anything like that. I just use her for talking to me. So I derailed you. Carry on with your orientation.
So on the front, you've got the microphones. If you go down, you've got the setup button, or the action button. And then you have the microphone on-off button. Then,
so you can't turn any volume up and down on it?
No, you would have to tell her to turn the volume up or down with speech. And then underneath the mic on and off button, you have a couple of holes that look like that is where the speaker is. On the right side of the Echo Flex, you have what looks like a 3.5mm jack. Let me see if that is what that is.
So if this works, this would be cool, because you can actually plug it into a better sounding something if you ever wish to. So if you want to make Christmas cookies and you want to bring your big Bose Bluetooth speaker or whatever into your kitchen and plug it into your Flex,
you can do that, because it is a 3.5mm jack. So you can connect it to a bigger speaker. You can also connect it to a set of headphones, which I just did. Also on the bottom by the USB port, there are little cutouts, and I'm assuming, because I haven't bought one of these, that's how it connects the accessory and makes it kind of snap in, so it's not holding it on completely by the USB port. There are little holes that looks like something would line up to it.
So do we know about these Flex accessories?
The only thing I found just now is the light, the little night light, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I really like that. So I assume you can say, "Hey, lady, turn on the night light," or "Turn off the
I would
night
assume
light,"
so,
or
yeah.
something like that, which is very cool, very nice. If your kids want it during the night or whatever, if they want it on all night, they have that ability.
And for the orientation, unless you have something that completely requires the lower outlet, I would probably put it in the lower outlet. Like in my basement, I have a freezer that because of the orientation of the cord, you can't plug it in the upper outlet. You have to plug it in the lower outlet. And when I plugged it in the upper outlet to test it to see what it would do, it was a little top heavy. So I think that it may have fallen out should I have left it in there for any real length of time. It just looked like it tipped just a teeny weeny bit, and I was a little nervous about it falling and hitting the ground. So if at all possible, my suggestion would be to use your lower outlet.
If it does fall and hit the ground and you do happen to damage it though, these are cheap. I mean, they're cheap as compared to some of your bigger Echoes. We're talking, what, $20, 25?
I think it's 30.
Oh, is it really? Okay. I thought it was
it's-
cheaper than that for some reason.
There was a coupon or something for $10 off.
Okay.
I think that they're about $30.
So let's talk about sound of this little thing.
Yeah, the sound of the thing is not the greatest. It sounds like a second gen Echo Dot, but without the volume, because you can get a second gen Echo Dot pretty loud.
Yep.
I don't know if I put this in the bathroom because I haven't tested it in that capacity yet and turned it up to volume 9 or volume 10. I don't know if I'd be able to hear anything over a shower. That would kind of concern me a little bit with the Flex.
Yeah, you don't want to be listening to something important with it while you're doing other things, probably like taking a shower or something, because who knows whether or not you're actually going to be able to hear it. It is not a good idea for music.
Again, it's one of those things that if you want to sprinkle these around your house, but you don't want a big Echo and you don't want wires, you know, maybe an Echo Dot, you might have wires laying around because you have it plugged in, or if you don't have the space for it, or again, maybe a kitchen where your outlet's up near the counter and you don't want your Echo. Like for me, I have one of the original cylinder Echoes sitting in the kitchen. And if I were to dump, let's say, a gallon of water or some soup and it went over to the Echo, I could probably say goodbye to the Echo just because it's literally sitting on the counter. With this, it would be up and away from those kinds of nasty little spills. You probably could get like a little speaker even that you can plug into the 3.5mm jack and get a little bit more sound that way as well. So there are ways to get better sound out of this device. There were a couple of reasons why I purchased this, and one was to, first of all, see what it was like, see what it sounded like. And because I have the Ring doorbell system and my ALEXA devices, when somebody pushes the button, they play the sound of the button press. It's nice to be able to sprinkle these around the house so maybe you don't hear the doorbell if you're upstairs. You can just use an outlet and use one of these for your doorbell to add multiple ding-dongs, or right now it's set up for Christmas chimes. I can have it play in those multiple places where you may not be able to hear it on the second floor or even the basement. You might put a couple of these or one of these in your basement as well. So it really depends on your use case and what you would want to use something like this for. Well, thank you everybody for joining us in the year 2019 and on to 2020. Happy New Year, everybody.
On to 2020. Happy New Year. Thanks for being a huge part of our year. We hope you'll be a huge part of next year as well, or this year, depending on when you're listening. So thanks for joining us.
Bye now.
Bye.
Happy New Year!
The preceding podcast is a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. If you are blind or visually impaired and desire to discover how our comprehensive products and services may support and empower your assistive technology journey, we welcome your visit at www.mysticaccess.com. Have a question or wish to place an order via phone? Call us at 716-543-3323. If you have something to share about this podcast episode, press 4 to reach our Mystic Access podcast comment line. Email us at info@mysticaccess.com. Connect with us on Twitter at twitter.com/mysticaccess and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/mysticaccessempower. Would you like to spread the word about our podcasts? Your friends and colleagues may listen and subscribe at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. If you enjoy our episodes, consider leaving us an iTunes rating and review. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for being a listener. We hope you enjoyed this episode.